Hello and welcome to the beautiful French Riviera. We have another 4v4 match mode on deck for you. We have a good one. I hope this is educational. I've really enjoyed this match and breaking it down. I've watched it a few times to make sure I know what I'm going to be talking about. To couch this in a good way for everyone that is on all walks of life of the WIC community that can grasp and maybe take something away from it. Let's break down the teams as you see here. NATO, don't worry about it. There's a fifth player. Roshan is actually in spectator. It's just a bug. It's a known thing. On the NATO side, we have Peru as air, Ponter as armor, who sent in this replay, Kickapoo as infantry, Red Rum, aka me, playing as support. On USSR, we have General X as infantry, Frenic as armor, Kide as air, and Wally as support. So let's dive right in and get started here. Drops are coming down. Kickapoo trolling me about me getting banned. So one thing that I've started to implement, especially in 4v4s, and especially on a map where air could get out of control and become a real big problem, is bringing one extra unit off the initial spawn. So myself and Ponter coordinated to bring one extra light, cheaper unit to help with caps, vision, just being around in case air wipes you from the first capping part of the game. So I wait and bring in a med AA. Ponter waits and brings an extra light tank. And as you'll see here in the opening sequence, it paid its dividends right away. Kide splits one heavy attack chopper. Peru gives us no vision on the left. Notice that, like, I have no idea where the air is. So I know air is here, just giving vision. So I'm assuming Kide, I don't know if she's going to attack from the town. That's what I'm thinking. But it turns out she's actually going to be floating around in the spawn, and we're not going to see Kide until she appears and is killing me. So, the two units that we waited on, Ponter and I, my Med AA dies and his light tank dies. Now imagine if we didn't wait on those units, they would have just been wiped, and we would have been down some units to cap. But we're good. We're still in a capping position. I still now have 4 AA on the field. Ponter still has 2 heavy tanks and 2 light tanks on the field. Not much of a loss at all. Like, yeah, delay to cap, that's fine. Kickapoo's gonna go cap, we're good. I'm gonna go cap the top here in a second from slow micro. I'm rearranging the windmill. So yeah, we're good. We are good. Now, I'm gonna pause. What is the initial push from the USSR team? What are they gonna do? This is a read and react scenario. The defense is showing that they're going to blitz. How are you going to react when they bring down the linebacker into the box and they fill it up with 8 people? That's an American football reference for my Euro friends. This is what is going to take place. We are turning the USSR attack into their own demise. We are doing a total flip, a reversal on them. We're going to give them the town initially because it's going to open up the back door to turn defense, a defensive posture here. Look at this defensive line of armor, infantry, and support. We're going to turn this defense into our fiercest attack by sacrificing town initially, very briefly. So watch this. We were able to kill heavy tank off spawn here from Mansion with Peru and the AT infantry squad of Kickapoo. We recognize the second heavy tank is on the field here. Light tanks are pushing up and creeping in. Support is here. Infantry is here. The enemy team is ready to advance and cap. They're going. Ponter signifies, here is our opening. I wish, you'll see in a second here, I wish we had a little bit better vision to make this push even better. But here we go. We're going to get a cap of at least Mansion. We're going to decap North Farm. They have now successfully capped the town, but we didn't wait. What we didn't do is wait for them to cap town and say, oh, geez, guys, I guess we got to push somewhere else. We give a cheap recap here, and then we give another cheap decap when trying to deny. Oh, that's a killer. That is killer right there. That hurts. But one micro mistake should not turn into a major macro mistake. The instincts are right. That is correct philosophy and thinking. Because if Kickapoo was able to deny with that Reg Inf. That sniper would have taken out the Reg Inf squad, and all would have been good. All would have been good. But nevertheless, because we took the attention off of the town, they were just going to keep pouring units in the town, and it was going to be a slugfest. We cap town, they cap town, we cap town, they... But what we did was we pressure flipped them. We totally flipped the scenario. We have Mansion. They don't have any more tanks on the left-hand side of the map. They're now going to have to refocus to get their own points back. Genius play. Great aggressive play from Ponter. That is awesome tempo setting from tanks. Armor players setting the tempo is what we preach. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. It makes everybody's life a lot easier. Now, another thing that makes life a lot easier is when you have control over key points of vision on Riviera and on any map. So I'm able to see Kide from a mile away here. I know she's going to be diving in to try to maybe deny this or to help set up their next push to town. Like I see light tanks here, I see Wally here. Their infantry players probably creeping up in the forest, might already be in the forest. So I know Kide is going to come in here at any moment. My posture is going to be a heavy AA sort of in the back. That way if she needs to dive in, she's got to go a long way. I'm going to have line of sight and firing range on her all the time. And these are ranked up units. They're going to be firing a billion miles an hour. I'm also rotating a mansion-based heavy AA to a forested covered position, and I'm going to bait. This is going to be a total bait and switch job. Here comes Kide's dive. And there's two things happening on the map right now that I want you to see at the same time. I'm not going to move from this position. Look at the top right here. This is, just watch, the luckiest. Oh my god, we preached this last episode. Take the heavy tanks off the points and take ranked up units off the points because you're going to get TA'd. But Frenick narrowly escapes that tank buster. You lucky dog. Now, back to the action here. Kide diving in. Used a lot of missiles because Kide was not on hold fire. Almost all the missiles were used on the building when she was diving in for AA. Big no-no. The scout gets wrecked immediately. I have now 3 heavy AAs. I used the heavy AA to cap. Immediately recognized airs diving in. I backed it up so that way Kide has a long way to go to come after me. She's playing ultra aggressive and I'm using her aggression against her. She's going to be wiped off the field just by that. Ooh, just got lucky. 5 HP left on there. All of that was set up because I had vision and because I knew air's going to try to come in first to deny or to start a push. But what we're going to do is take advantage of that vision and we're going to deny the town. They will not get a cap. They will get a decap. We will get a easy recap here. So all that is taking place. That defensive schematic here is all taking place simultaneously. And this is why I pause again. Kickapoo has ran up a reg infantry squad because he hates trucks, Canadian trucks specifically. He is going to spawn so many reg imps throughout the game and just run them up into positions. And usually we would discourage players from doing that, use trucks to get further and further up the field, blah, blah, blah. But it also draws attention to you. But running up a reg imp squad, people might not think that it's a big issue right away. I will tell you right now, this reg imp squad is going to be a very big issue from the opposing team because it's going to become a general and it's going to be bad news. Great push, great recognition. They're trying to now go to windmill because they've been clearing that up a little bit. Air will come back. Hopefully Peru will come over soon enough. He's doing the right thing. Clear out. This is nonsense. We talked about this last episode when we featured Riviera. We've got to win this forest because it allows us to push mansion, allows us to defend town better, so on and so forth. So it's going to be a little bit of a give and take here. We're going to defend windmill now. They're reposturing themselves to attack windmill instead of town. But General X will continue to pester Kickapoo in the town to try to win that back. which honestly, General X is a few aggressive drops away from potentially winning the town. Just something to note. We are able to get another recap here. The North Farm, I don't know if you caught that. General X decapped with the Reginf. I'm going to start telling Ponter about unit preservation, which I think is super key in a 4v4. We have a double bar, or a star, a double bar. We have a recruit. So we have drops on the field for troop transports for repairs. Ponter, live to fight another day, brother. Pull him back. And I'm going to put an exclamation mark on him saying, we've done our job here. This is never going to be a cap and hold position. This is a cap for Dom bar progression. Should have brought that back. Those light tanks weren't going to kill him from that far. Maybe they would have in the end, but at least give yourself a fighting chance to get repairs on it. So we're good. Like, now here comes the reign of TA, and this is the death cycle that the USSR team can find themselves in. When they lose Mansion and they're getting pushed at the North Farm, they find themselves in the death cycle of being TA just being constantly dropped over and over and over and over again on them, which will happen, and it's going to happen. So that Reginf died after a long time being in the forest, helping with caps. But don't worry, Kickapoo's got another Reginf ready to go. Star AA, like, immediately into the action. Look how fast it's shooting. Just unbelievable. So we're going to go back for the cap. Air is not going to be much of a factor now that they're down to one attack chopper. Recognizing Ponter's in really no threat. Caps it. Oh, unfortunate. But glad we got the cap either way. I'm going to deter with a heavy AA. So you're starting to see the name of the game here. Where they are currently, they can't be in two places at the same time. This is just an okie doke here. I think even if I was playing Armor, I wouldn't have recognized this potential. And I don't even know how they knew Kickapoo and Ponter. I don't think I heard them on VoIP say North Farm, North Farm, North Farm. Like, it's open. But immediately goes from what would have been a death position of just sitting on the CP with the light tank that you used to cap, to then springing into the back point of North Farm, and Kickapoo almost reads his mind and caps it with them. And I know I'm not in a position, I'm not going to sacrifice my heavy AA here. There's a heavy tank. I'm not going to run up there and just die and throw away a unit. I'm not going to sacrifice a double bar. Maybe I could have pushed down further with it, but we knew that the air wasn't on the field for a little bit. So there was a window of time to take advantage. And now there's going to be another significant window of time to take advantage. Literally spawns in, full set, waits for the full thing. Boom. Gone. A little tip I'd like to share with everyone here as well. When you're placing air-to-air strikes or TA that has a positional direction on it, if you're scared that the air player, who might be a very good air player, is going to flare out of your TA and your air-to-air specifically, left click when placing it, hold, and place it where the arrow is where their camera POV would be looking towards. Because this jet came from Kide's spawn area, and she might not have thought that was an air-to-air for her because she wasn't looking that direction. She might have never saw it. She was a fresh spawn of full set, had flares, 100% had flares, but wasn't able to recognize that that was for her, and she paid the price. And so now, for another minute and a half, we're going to have free reign of the map, uncontested, without air impacting our freedom of movement. Light tank spam, here we go. Like, it's an easy counter move, push, push, push. Air's dead. It's a 4v4. There's limited amount of units on the field. So we're going to get some more caps in. We're keeping the aggression up. It's none of this initial, hey, we got a lot of good ticks, and now we're going to sit and wait for a nuke. We're going to keep the pedal to the metal, and we're going to continue grinding. The never-ending amount of heavy artillery barrages. That's a great cluster, great heavy arty barrage, and we're going to answer it with the same thing. Here I am, being aggressive support. Kickapoo's in a capping position. All their armor is over here. let's do it. I'll cap as well. I'll play aggressive. When Poncer's dead, you know what? I can help cap as well. Air's back on the field. Continuous death cycle of tactical H strikes coming down into this like spawn death corridor area, this holding spot that the USSR team finds himself in often. They did not get this cap, by the way. So we capped this and they still have not recapped it. And I think, will Poncer get this kill? He definitely could. He does not get the kill. Kickapoo reserves the right to keep his Reg Inf alive. Especially that far forward. Because he's providing us... Honestly, think about the yin and yang of that. Do I save my unit to provide vision, or do I lose my unit to not allow them to cap? Honestly, vision might have been the better play, and I think it will, in the end, be a better play. We're able to see their entire spawn right away. All the time. We could just continue, okay, they spawned in, put some more TA down. Over and over and over. You saw that tank buster on Jeeps. What a waste. To tell you the truth, did we get the cap? We got the cap. There's your general infantry. But TAing Jeeps, it's an... I don't know. I get it. It's more of a nuisance and annoyance than anything. But you don't need to TA their Jeeps when their air is constantly dead all the time. Like, wiped. Hide's not staying alive long enough to actually go back and get repairs. Which is a huge gripe if you're Wally and the other team. That she's not staying alive. She's not ranking up her units. She's not feeding TA back to the support player for reps. So this is a very comfortable position that we're in. I'm going to just speed it up. You kind of get the gist here. We're going to keep the pressure on. It's just open. Like, this is open season. There's no fortification. Now, compared that to our defensive position. Totally forwarded in the town. Totally forwarded in the windmill. We have some sparring going on with paratroopers. Not a whole lot of threats taking place. If there's no threat to your team, then you should push. I should have probably put in another heavy arty barrage right away down here. Oh. Poncer pulled to me. That was a... Now I understand. I'm watching Poncer's replay. Duh. So here comes a heavy air support, but we don't have the units. We will have the units to cap, I believe. Hide does not want to dive in here, and I wouldn't either. We're able to get the cap. Like, we're continuing this pressure, not even just the decap. Eventually, USSR is going to start using their TA to free up opportunities to cap other portions of the map, of which you see here. More TA being dropped. We do not allow them to cap, not even decap town. So that was a lot of TA they just wasted. So they had light tank drops, which I believe those were General X light tank drops, out of roll, $10 a pop. Clusters and napalms to free it up. Brought air over, still didn't get the cap. A lot of wasted TA and a lot of wasted time, more importantly. Good air to air from Wally, because there's no AA to be found here. That would have been an easy cleanup. And another way we could have decapped and recapped Mansion. So continue to put the pressure on. I'm just going to speed up. You kind of get the gist of how this game went. The highlights to me, though, were armor player dictating the pace of the play. How quickly you can use what a team's initial push to be the downfall of that team by pushing where they're not. And honestly, there was more to gain from us than from them, because they capped 1 CP, we capped 2 CPs. And we kept that cycle the whole game. Keep denying points with TA. Like, it was just a brilliant performance from from the NATO squad of just working together, being at the right place at the right time, creating luck, creating your own opportunities. General X will get the cap here from in the town. You'll see a little tick from the USSR team, but it's too little too late. Like, they have zero momentum. The only thing they could have hoped for was maybe nuke and spam, but I don't know if that would have been enough either, because we would have just capped their north farm and the mansion. So, overall, really fun game. Very high tempo, very aggressive from Ponter and Kickapoo both. I really enjoyed playing this style, because we often see a stalemate sometimes with Riviera, and you kind of get that middle 10 minutes of doing nothing. You're just kind of poking at each other until somebody nukes or makes a big play or uses some TA to force pushes. But yeah, that's the game here. Here comes a cap, most likely. We're not going to get the cap, but somewhere, some way, we get the Dom bar and it's game over. I think we get the windmill back is what will actually end up happening in the town. So, yeah, like all this nonsense, like, oh, USSR is coming back, blah, blah. Not really. I think they used all their TA just then to get the windmill, to get the town for a second, to kind of... But they have no control. They have zero control of the map. This was a game about controlling the map, controlling tempo, the pace of play. Fabulous job from Team NATO. I really enjoyed the game. I hope somebody learned something from this, even if it's just a little thing here and there. Wick is all about accumulating information time over time, playing over and over, learning little things here and there to elevate your play at a macro level. And it's macro understanding of when to push, when to go, when to hold, when to be aggressive, when to be passive, understanding the air is off the field, so I'm an armor player, I can push free reign like a dang chicken. Free range chicken all over the map. That should be the takeaway here, is understanding every role and how they communicate and coordinate with each other. We're going to get a decap here. We're going to get a recap over here. We're just going to speed this up for simplicity's sake to keep the game down. Let's get to the final score page. We win with 5 minutes and 57 seconds left on the map. But overall, awesome game. Good, pretty even teams. Frenica's armor, I think, was their biggest weak link. But honestly, I don't think he had a terrible game. I thought he had a pretty good game for being the weakest link. Peru, you know, it's hard to play against Wally as support. And Kide really dropped it, I think, in my mind. Like, I'm not a great support player, but it was not her best showing either. But the reason why this is important is because our team took advantage of their mistakes. And air, you might default as, oh, it's not that important because it's not a ground role. But air is very important, especially if they're getting wiped, because it enables teams to push undeterred. It enables teams to push without problems, issues, threat of air wiping the whole thing. It's really important everyone understands how to play with that kind of mindset. It is playing chess, not checkers. So thanks for watching, everybody. Really enjoy doing these reviews of games. Feel free to send them along. Message me on Discord. Reach out if you have any questions. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Help with the YouTube algorithm. Have a great day, everybody. Hope you enjoyed.